Okay. Yeah, Jai Hind aspirants. I welcome to Centurion Defense Academy live session. So today I'll be talking about Territorial Army, or what we call as TA in short. And I'm sure that many of you are not exactly aware that what TA is. So today I'm clear to all those doubts about it. Okay. Yes. Congratulations for winning. Thank you, Vidya Shankar. Okay. Yeah. Jai Hind, Harsh. All right, so you can keep posting your doubts while I'll begin with what exactly the TA is. So now TA, also known as the Citizen Army. Okay, every army in the world, okay, they have a reserve component. That is, they have one fighting force in case of war, which is going out in front and fighting the main battle. Okay, now what we call is attrition. That casualties happen in war. Okay, and you need replacements. Sometimes those replacements are also not enough, then you activate your reserves. That what TA is, that is like the reserve component of the Indian Army. All right, so now TA has been there since the British era, but primarily the Territorial Army came into being in 1948 when the TA Act was passed. All right, and its primary role was to reinforce the main army if a situation arises that they need the reservist, or the main role comes into when the main army has gone to fight the war, all their installations they need to be protected. Now that is done by the Territorial Army. Okay, so now support to the regular army, aid to civil administration, and it's a part-time service. All right, in TA it is basically you are part of the organization for a certain duration of months. Minimum is 2 months, maximum you can opt for, but it also depends upon the organizational requirement. If there is an organizational requirement that yes, we need so many officers for so much of duration, you can very much opt to serve a longer time. Okay, many of you actually must have heard that recently the Ops Sindoor was on, the TA was activated, and we were like almost set that in case a full-fledged war comes in, so we will be called into service. All right. Okay. Now historical roots, as I mentioned, that it's in the British era, and it actually came into being with the Territorial Army Act in 1948. Now TA has always been actively involved in all the major wars. Okay, that is from your 65, 71, Kargil, and just recently during Ops Sindoor, they were also activated. Now the question arises that what we do when war situation is not there. Okay, aspirants, TA is actively involved in CICT. CICT stands for your counterinsurgency and counterterrorism. TA officers, men, and the units, they are deployed in the jungles of the Northeast India from Manipur, Nagaland, Assam, Arunachal to all the way to the icy peaks of Jammu and Kashmir. So when war is not on, you will be deployed in the CI area. Okay. I'm a 28 working in corporate culture. I want to switch this profession. Can this become an option for me? It will be difficult to understand for me or not. Okay. See, if you are exactly looking for a switch, this is not primarily a switch. Okay. Because one of the prerequisites of being in TA or to apply for TA is that you need to have a proper employment in civil, or you should have a business of your own. Okay, like I said, that it's a part-time commitment and a full-time honor. So now, in case there is no requirement that the organization doesn't want you for more than 2 months, then what you will do? So that's the reason you need to have a something in civil. Yes, you can manage both. That is, for 2 months you are in field conditions in TA units. and for remaining 10 months and whatever the corporate work you are doing, you can continue with that. Okay. Okay, healing pulse. Working in corporate conference or multiple time. Please do let me know more about TA. How can we join? Yeah, I'm coming on to it. Okay. Now, in TA, it's primarily infantry units and engineers. Okay. Like I'm in infantry. Okay. I'm part of the Gurkha Rifles. There are certain engineer units which are affiliated to the regular engineers units. All right. Now there's medical and signals. It used to be there, okay, initially, but over the time they have been disbanded. Okay. Railway and oil sector. So now there was railway TI units earlier. They were primarily employees of the Indian Railways, and certain units were raised which during the war scenario, because understand that when war happens you need to have that, transport going on, you need logistical supplies and troops need to be moved. So that time railway becomes highly active. So for that purpose railway TA was raised, but past around 1.5 2 years back the railway TA has been disbanded. Okay. In oil sector they have one TA battalion which is specific to ONGC. Okay, we call it departmental TA. So bulk of their officers are ONGC employees. Okay. Cyber defense. Now, recently, uh, looking at the changing dynamics of warfare, okay, we decided that we need to have cyber specialists, we need to have linguistic specialists. Okay, so a special entry was created for this. All right, what we call is cyber expert and Mandarin language expert. So now, if you are good in IT, okay, you have worked in cyber security, hacking, anti-hacking, you are in that kind of a domain, you can apply for cyber security. It comes generally once in a year. Okay, there is no fix when it will come. Okay, it's upon the organizational requirement. Now, similarly, we have Chinese linguist expert. Past 4 years, twice it has come in. That notification is out. Now, the beauty of this entry is that there is no SSB. Okay, you have a written exam. Okay, which is not like CDS or AFCAT. It is to the domain. If you are applying for cyber entry, your test is conducted on your IT knowledge and your cyber knowledge. Okay. If you are applying for the Mandarin expert, your exam is conducted on your Mandarin expertise. Okay. It is then followed by an interview at DGTA. Okay. After which you undergo your medicals. If you're selected, then obviously a merit comes in and you proceed for your training. Okay. Remember, when you are applying through a specialist entry, you will be working in that domain only. You will not do any other work. For example, if you're expecting that, okay, you become an infantarian, no, you will be limiting to that, because for that purpose, the government has chosen you. All right. Okay, do we get salary? You get salary only for the time you are serving. What we call is embodiment. Okay. For example, if you are serving for 2 months, we call it 2 months of embodiment. So for that embodiment period, you get paid. When you are back to your whatever primary occupation is there, for that you are not paid. Wanted to know, like I'm in media sector, in TA professional like subject cyber security and technical job, get priority, or will be same for me working in media. Okay, if you are applying for cyber security, it is not a preference or anything. Okay, it is totally on your expertise. That if you are applying for cyber entry, you will be asked thoroughly. You will undergo a test on hacking and anti-hacking. All right. What entry I joined? Okay, I joined through the general entry. Okay, in general entry, you give a written exam. That is just like combination of CDS and AFCAT. All right, you clear that. Then I underwent a PIB, known as preliminary interview board, but after 2023 it is not there. You clear a written, you directly go to SSB. Okay, so you undergo the SSB, then you undergo your medicals, then a merit, and you train at either OTA or IMA. Okay, OTA Chennai. So but it's not a fix. Okay. You will get salary during the back. No, Vidya Shankar, you don't get salary for the gap period. That is the reason. See, why I'm saying is that it's a prerequisite on TA that you need to be employed, gainfully employed. All right. Because when you are off, when you are disembodied, okay, you are not in your unit, you're not posted in, you're not serving, you will be paid by your parent organization, whether it's corporate, you are working in government sector as IAS or IFS, jo bhi hai, or in case you have your business of your own, so whatever the revenue you are generating, that's your becomes your income. Okay, how to prepare for this cyber interview? See, the interview will be based on the technical expertise of the cyber. Okay, that any technicality could be a thing related to coding. Okay, could be any technical expert of cyber or will be able to answer. Okay, I'm not an IT guy, so I cannot exactly tell you that how the questions are come up, but they will be related to the cyber security only. All right, moving on. Now, in general entry, we have two types. One is for civilians, okay, and one is for ex-servicemen. I'll cover the civilian one first. So now, eligibility criteria: you need to be Indian citizen, okay, male and female. Uh, Before 2019, there was no entry for women in the TA, okay. But when Delhi High Court gave a verdict, then 2022 onwards, the female started coming into TA. Age is between 18 to 42. All right. Education: graduate from any recognized university. There is no percentage bar. Okay. You need to have a degree from a recognized university. You need to be a graduate. Masters can also apply. Okay. Employment: gainfully employed in civil profession. Okay. Because aspirants, please understand, when you go for your SSB, all right, irrespective of any entry, a certain documentation is done. Okay. In TA, there are additional documents they ask for other than your 10th and 12th mark sheet and your graduation degree and mark sheets. That is your NOC and latest ITR. Now, what does NOC stands for? NOC stands for your no objection certificate. All right. That is in case you are working for someone. Okay, you have a boss, you are working for someone else, you don't own a business. All right. Your employer has to give an NOC, no objection certificate, that yes, they have no objection for that you are applying in TA, and if selected, they will relieve you for that 2 months or 3 months duration. Okay, that has to be given in written with a proper stamp by the employer. All right. Second is your ITR, that is your income tax return. Okay. Aspirants, as we know, there's a tax slab. All right. There's a certain bracket above which, if your annual income is, you need to pay tax. All right. In case your annual income is below that bracket, you don't have to pay the tax. All right. Now, many of you will be in that bottom income in which you are not paying taxes. Okay. Irrespective, you need paying tax or not paying tax, you need to have the latest ITR. These two documents are mandatory and they are thoroughly checked before your screening is conducted. In case you are not having these documents, you are not allowed to appear for screening and you are made to wait. And once the screen out candidates come, you are sent back with them. Okay. Now, for the ex-serviceman entry, must be former commissioned officer, Army, Navy, or Air Force, age up to 45 years. Okay, service, good service record required. Benefit: prior commissioned service, credit for seniority and promotion. All right. Now, we have short service commission, okay, in Army, Navy, Air Force. That is, you serve for 10 years to 14 years. All right. Now, in case you have served and your age is below 45, all right, you have a good ACR, okay, you are shape 1 medical, you can apply to again read on that uniform. Now, in this, in case you are an SS officer from the army, okay, then you don't undergo what we call is a pre-commission training. All right, because you have already done that army training, that infantry training. All right. at IMA, sorry, not IMA, at OTA Chennai or OTA Gaya. So you continue from whatever seniority you had left the service. For the Air Force and the Navy, however, because infantry is very different. Okay, in case lady officer is there, she'll go into engineers. It's different. All right. Although you have done the training, okay, the pre-commissioned training of Navy and for the Air Force, but you have not done the Army. So orientation is done for you. Okay, you are sent to IMA or OTA Chennai, and you undergo that basic infantry capsule, or basically just an orientation. Okay, what army regulations are like, what infantry is like, what engineers is like. The army lingos are very different from the other two services, so that is done. Okay, however, let's just say an officer has left the service at 10 years of service. Okay, that time he or she must be a major. So when you join TA, okay, you will start from that year of service itself. Okay, that whatever the service you had already put in is catered for. Now, benefit of this entry is if you are coming in next 10 years or 6 years of embodied service and you do 20 years of physical service in total, you reach your pensionable age. Now the selection process, simple. Notification comes out. Okay, there's an application. You see what are the prerequisites. You apply for it. Then is your written exam, objective test covering reasoning, elementary mathematics, GK, and English. Okay. Now the written exam, it's of 100 marks, divided into 4 sections. 25 questions of English, 25 questions of maths, 25 questions of reasoning, and 25 questions of your GK. All right. They are objective like. Pattern is pretty much similar to AFCAT, but the maths part and the English part, it's of TDS level. All right. While the others, they are at par with your HSC CGL and your AFCAT. If you clear your written exam, all right, then you go for your SSB interviews. Aspirants, as far as the SSB is considered, there is absolutely no difference. All right. From the TA SSB or whatever entry earlier you had applied or not applied, all right, you will have your screening, that is your PPNDT and your OIR. If you are screened in, you will undergo the same psych test evaluation of TAT, VAT, SRT, SG. You will undergo the same GTO day 1, day 2. You will undergo the interview. You will face the conference. All right. So that goes on. There's absolutely no difference. Coming to medical examination, it is just like any other entry. If you are selected, you undergo medical examination at the closest MH. In TA, it is also the same. Okay. The medical examination checks you for the same parameters. Okay, same degree of fitness. However, since the age is up to the 42, okay, so the medical parameters are also have the brackets according to the age, because they also know that an 18-year-old medical standards cannot be same to a 40-year-old. Okay, so you can go to online and check for those medical standards, especially the height and weight criteria, and you can see that whether you are fitting it into or not. In case you are not, you can work on it. Okay, once medical examination is done, then a final merit list is compiled. Merit comes in, and depending upon that, for that particular course, okay, where the directorate wants you to go for your training, you can go to either OTA Chennai or Indian Military Academy at Dehradun. The written exam and the SSB, like I said, all right, is, I hope, in case you have a questions about this, you can ask. Okay, I'm happy to take your respective questions. All right. Now, TA Amendment Act 2023, all right, and the special entries. The candidates, what earlier used to happen, okay, that is, you gave your written exam, okay, then you had to face a PIB, that is your preliminary interview board. It used to be conducted at your nearest command headquarters. All right. Like in my case, it was conducted at Chandi Mandir. Over there, it is as good as a semi-conference. What do you experience? Okay, there will be a board of officers. Okay, there will be good 7-8 officers sitting there, and their interview one by one. They're basically checking that whether they should send you to SSB or not. Do you stand a chance for selection or not? And that time, almost 70 to 80% people used to get wiped off at the PIB stage itself. And the documentation also used to be done. However, that time, in case you had any problem with documentation, okay, they used to give a certain time that, okay, that by the time of SSB, please present this document. If you're not able to present the documents at the time of SSB, then you are not allowed to face the SSB interview. Okay. That used to happen, medical, etc. Then once the merit used to come, okay, what you used to undergo is known as post-commission training. Okay, you used to get your units, and then your training used to be done at units for 2 to 3 months. Then you used to go to any of the, that is IMA or OTA, for 3 months. So in totality, 6 months divided into 2 phases, 3 months at unit and 3 months at any of the training academies. All right. However, with the TA amendment 2023, 2 major changes happened. That is, first is your PIB was removed. Okay. Now, once you clear your written, you directly go to SSB. Okay. No PIB stage. That saved time and manpower. Second was your training of that 6 months, which used to be at 2 now different places, was combined for 6 months directly at academy. So you will not go to the unit first, you will go to the academy first for 6 months. All right. And now it from post commission training, it is now called as pre-commission training. Okay. Then addition of the cyber wing entry, as I have mentioned. All right. Structural updates, these are little technical term. Okay, for example, there was certain number of companies which used to be onboarded, and now it has been changed, that numbers. All right, once you become a fellow brother or sister in arm, then you will understand those things better. Okay, training structure. Initial is your BMT, that is your basic military training. You are taught basics of drill, you are taught basics of the military lingo, weapon handling. All right, field engineering, everything basic is taught to you. All right. Then is your annual training camp. Now in annual training camp, when you are coming for that minimum mandatory service, that is of 2 months, that is known as ATC or annual training camp. All right. Promotion and ranks. In TA, we have the same rank structure. You wear the same uniform. The only difference comes is that over here on the shoulder plash, Territorial Army is written. Okay. You start from lieutenant. Okay. Then you become captain, major, lieutenant colonel, colonel, and brigadier, and full stop. In regular army, you go up to the rank of general. Okay. If you are up to the Manekshaw level, then you might become field marshal. Okay. But in TA, the maximum attainable rank by an officer is brigadier. Okay. Another difference in rank structure from the regular army is that if you are a non-tech entry joining the regular army, okay, for example, you are coming through CDS or any other entry which is not technical based, that is your TGC and SSC Tech, where you are given 1 year of antedate seniority. That is, in technical entries, you become captain in 1 year. In other entries, you become captain in 2 years. However, in TA, you have a 2 years of seniority loss. So that is, you become captain in 4 years of service. Okay. Okay, Anurag is saying NDA. Yeah, Anurag, what about NDA you want to know? Okay, financial benefits and allowance. Now, pay and allowance is for the active service. Okay, what do you call as embodied service. Okay, you're serving for 2 months, you'll get pays, whatever allowance. Okay, that is your CI allowance, that is your field allowance, high altitude allowance. You get paid for that. Okay, But once you are disembodied, no, then you are not paid by the government. However, when you are disembodied, you can pretty much get all other things like your canteen and basic medical. Okay. Travel and logistics, you get when you are going from your home to your unit for service, and when from the unit you are coming back, you're coming out disembodiment, you are paid for whatever the travel allowance is there. Okay. In between, in case you are going for a TD, okay, that is your temporary duty, that is also paid. All right. Uniform allowance, ration allowance, travel allowance. Okay. So when you are embodied, you get everything. Okay. Pension and gratuity. Now here comes a twist. You get pension if you have done 20 years of embodied service. Okay. Let's take it by example. Someone has been a part of TA for 20 years. Okay. But has been doing ATC, that is 2 months every year. Now, for in 20 years of getting commissioned in TA, that individual officer has done 20 into 2. Okay, that is 40 months of physical service. That is 40 months. Okay, if you divide it into years, it will come on to maybe like 3.5 to close to 4 years of service. Okay, you are not eligible for pension. Okay, you need to have proper physical service of 20 years in order to be eligible for pension in TA. Honors and recognitions, yes, if you do exemplary service, if luck favors you and you get into operations, you get the same medals and the commendations, okay, the attachments, so you can get to decorate that uniform. Okay. Okay. Key preparation tips. Okay, firstly is keep monitoring the official website. Okay. Many people, they don't get to know, okay, when the TA notification has come out. So you need to constantly be checking. Most likely the next notification should be out anytime soon. Okay, within a couple of weeks, or maybe by the mid your January, next notification will be out. Okay, strengthen fundamental knowledge of reasoning, maths, current affairs, written exam. Candidates year written exam, I'll say, is the toughest exam among all other. That is your AFCAT, your Coast Guard, your CDS. Okay, the written cutoff goes very high. Example, the last TA written which was conducted. Okay, the written cutoff for the male candidates, I believe, was around 72.5 or 73 marks, and for the female candidates was close to 75 marks out of 100. So you need to score at least like 80% or something to not just clear the exam but also stand a chance for the merit. Okay, so please, you need to study very hard, and especially the people, those who have left studies, way back, and now again that fire has ignited to don that uniform. You need to open those books and brush up whatever you had learned years back, because that's what I exactly did. Practice group discussions, PPDT skills, excel in the SSB interview. Okay, as we know that SSB is absolutely same. Okay, many of you will be repeaters, many of you might be coming from the UPSC, serving civil servants, and they are coming there. Okay, like I had a lot of civil servants when I had gone for my TSSB, and I can assure you, clearing the UPSC interview, there's no guarantee you can clear the SSB interview. I had seen those people getting plugged out, getting screened out, and not getting recommended. So in case any of your aspirants are interested and clear your written exam, or already have cleared and need that specific guidance how to ace the SSB interview, you can come to us, and I'm also there, who will guide you to the best of our ability. Okay, maintain a high standard of physical fitness and overall health. Aspirants, the physical standards are same. Okay, you will undergo all the PT tests which are mandatory. which is conducted by the regular army. There is no leeway given to you. Okay, the level of the standards might vary according to the age bracket only. uh, Aspirants, those who are below the age of 30, you will be undergoing the same PT standards which are of a gentleman cadet at IMA or OTA. Okay, similarly for the lady cadets, whatever is applicable to a lady cadet coming through other entry, if a TA lady cadet is below the age of 30, she'll undergo that same level of fitness test. Okay, after 30 to 40, there is a certain bracket in which a certain relaxation is given, but however the tests are same. Then 40 to 50, there is a certain age bracket. Okay, but it has been observed that maximum of the TA officers which are coming, they are either in the late 20s or in their 30s. Okay, now I'm happy to take your doubts and your questions. So yeah, you can ask anything about TA, any doubt you have, anything about SSB. So you are most welcome. Part-time soldiers, full-time patriots. Yeah, what we call is that, part-time commitment and full-time honor, because that rank and that honor, that yes, that even though just a tiny bit of the part of the year, okay, you are serving the motherland, so that itself gives you a pride. Yeah, Anurag, what do you want to know about NDA? Okay, so yeah, aspirants, with this we conclude our live session for the Territorial Army. In case you have any doubts, you can comment. Okay, we'll get back to you. You are those who are preparing for the upcoming TA written exam, for upcoming CDS exam, for AFCAT, for SSB preparation, you can come to us at Centurion Defense Academy, and we'll train you how to and get you a step closer of donning that uniform. Jai Hind. Thank you.